Axel Weekly Band Crawl. As promised, we've been working on this for a while. We've been working on this for a while. I've got Dina and James here from Sesame Plexer and Duplexer. So is it James and Jay? What's the other guitar player's name?
James Crouch.
But you're Jay.
Yes.
And he's James.
In the band.
Okay, that's how I'm going to know them apart. So I tell everybody every week, I'm horrible with names. I'm awful. Like, as a matter of fact, I'm probably giving away something I shouldn't. If people come up and they say hi, half the time I have to turn to my wife and be like, have you met my wife? So that hopefully they're like, I'm Bob.
Right.
Because I'm really bad.
The same
so, okay, so Jay is in Duplexer.
Correct.
James is just the Dina James.
Right. That's the original, my original duo partner.
Okay.
From 2012, right around there. 2011, 2012.
Okay, so I'm going to make sure I get those right now. See, now I know. Now, first thing I obviously want to talk about is Sesame Plexer. So, did you, I think we talked about this on Facebook, but did you pick the name because of the movie, or is this a fluke?
No, that is absolutely correct. So, basically what happened is that I had the band Stash, and it was Keith Bevington, it was Gabriel Lewandowski on drums, it was Stan was playing bass, I believe Stan Helfinson.
I don't know that one, but
okay. So we played the music that they asked me to learn, and I was hanging out with Michael Makepeace at the time. Michael Makepeace was a friend of mine, and he was in the American Hot Rods at that time, and I kept asking him to come in and play with our band because I wanted to do more of the 80s hair metal stuff. And he was very reluctant at first, and then finally I kind of convinced him to just kind of do one of the shows with us. Now, because we were changing up the set list so abruptly, where we were putting in a whole lot of 80s hair metal stuff, I said, let's change the name to something different. Now, he used to call that sleaze rock.
That's what Makepeace called it.
Yes, sleaze rock. We played sleaze rock. That was his thing. So it just happened to be around that time when I was watching Adventures in Babysitting, and of course you know the story because I already watched you on the Band Crawl talk about that. And he, and in the movie, obviously she gets told that she can't, she says he's sick, her boyfriend, and then she ends up babysitting the kids, and then she ends up finding him in the city when they get caught up in all of their
And the girl's name was Sesame Plexer.
Right, so she comes in and she says, she's with Sesame Plexer. She's such a sleaze rock.
Got it. Okay.
I was always my big thing was I kind of had a fascination with having a girl name like Alice Cooper and I don't know what else, Molly Hatchet.
Sure.
Alice in Chains. I mean, so, and then, Beyonce, she had her Sasha Fierce, that was her thing. So this was this is sleaze rock. This is Sesame Plexer. So that's kind of where the name originated.
See, and I only knew that it was
and
from
you
the
knew
movie,
that.
I didn't know.
So
I knew it came from the movie, but I didn't know the sleazy
backstory.
rock, therefore becoming, okay, I get that.
Right. She's with Sesame Plexer. She's such a sleaze, And I remember writing that name down that's such a cool, I thought it was a cool name for a band.
It is a cool name for a band.
I like having a a name. It's almost like an alter ego type thing. It was different than what I was doing before. So.
And every time I post up the logo, right? Because normally when I cover you guys, I just put the logo up.
Yeah.
And so from the logo, you really can't tell what kind of music it's going to be, right? Because it's got the skull and crossbones.
It has the skull.
So we could be Megalodon and Avenged Sevenfold and Sepultura.
Right.
But then it's got the font, which is kind of piratey, and so I go to a Sesame Plexer show. What am I getting? What am I walking into?
So we play a variety of music. We play 70s, 80s. We play kind of our first set is usually kind of simple. It's got some Tom Petty. It's got some blues. It's got some Janis Joplin. It has I'm trying to think of what else is in the first set, but usually we do.
But it's kind of your classic rock, bluesy set, right?
Classic rock, kind of bluesy type set to kind of ease you in. And then we also have our girl power set, which we do Alanis Morissette, Pat Benatar, Joan Jett, Melissa Etheridge. We play I Will Survive usually, which is Gloria Gaynor, but we do it in the style of Cake. And
then for some reason we throw in Joe Walsh.
Yeah,
because he's girl power.
We throw things.
Yeah.
We throw things in every once in a while, and then of course, and everybody
Makes me
wants
sing
to.
sometimes.
There you go.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
Do like a song a set usually is what kind of position.
Just
it
let him out of his
perfectly.
cage and be
Right.
like, here's.
And then we've got our '80s hair metal set, which has the Motley Crue, the Tesla, the Guns N' Roses. We usually end our set with Guns N' Roses and say, hey, if you like that, we're getting more coming for you. So then we play the Guns N' Roses, we play Tesla, Skid Row.
What Guns N' Roses are you doing?
We do Welcome to the Jungle, and we also do Sweet Child. Stuff that people recognize and that they know as,
And pure curiosity, obviously I'm a Motley Crue fan.
Yes.
What Motley Crue song do you do?
So when Makepeace was in the band, we did Girls, 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 and we also did, I'm trying to think of the other, but right now we do the Home Sweet Home.
Nice.
That's kind of a, because Jay plays it great on guitar, even though it's a keyboard type song, and I think we did that with Makepeace as well. Home
And that's
Sweet
a pretty wide stretch. I mean, we got from Janis Joplin and Tom Petty all the way to Welcome to the Jungle.
Home. Right.
Like, you guys have a pretty big variety.
Right, and that usually goes over well because most of the people that like that stuff also like the 80s hair metal, but then they also like hearing some Alanis Morissette. So it's like, and some of these songs I can't escape because they come up and they say, hey, do you play an Alanis, I was playing an Alanis song, do you play, a Janis Joplin song? It's like, sometimes I want to change up the set list a little bit, but
you're
it's
stuck with
almost
it.
like I'm already, typecast and pigeonholed.
But that also means you guys have a fairly loyal following.
We do.
Right?
We
I
have,
mean, if people
we've
are
been
coming out and
around
requesting because they know you do it,
Right,
then
right.
they've obviously seen you before. So, I
Right.
mean, it sounds like you've got a little, kind of a crew that follows you guys around.
Right. Well, I mean, we've been around a long time in Daytona, so mostly Daytona. We have our regulars that come in, and they're usually either friends of mine. I also bartend, so I've kind of been around in the
And you
Daytona.
do a jam night.
And I do the jam night
And are
every
you hosting
Tuesday
a
night.
karaoke night, or did you used to host a karaoke?
So karaoke was prior to even starting the band, but yes, that's kind of like my roots were karaoke, was hosting. And this is actually a funny story. So I can remember going into Dirty Harry's, and I had bought all the equipment. Now prior, I used to live in Massachusetts, and I used to go to karaoke, and she told me, she said, if you ever want to do karaoke, you can come be a host. So I would have to go to her house, pick up all the equipment, go to the show, run the show, bring her stuff back, and then I was getting half the money for the night.
Nope.
So when I got to Daytona, mind you, I was like 18 or 19 years old, 20 maybe at the time. But then when I got to Daytona, I said, I'm just going to buy my own equipment, and then I can just do the whole thing and make all the money myself.
Sure.
I can remember going into Dirty Harry's and telling them, let me just do karaoke. And I can remember the manager at the time saying, there will never be karaoke at this place. There will never be karaoke at Dirty Harry's. This is not the place for it. And I just remembered saying, well, what's your slowest night? Let me go in and just do karaoke on your slowest night. And there was no karaoke really anywhere at that point. And they said, all right, well, you could do like a Sunday night. And I remember it just happened to be like a Monday holiday. And I put up posters. I mean, we're going back.
Right, because you're hanging
almost
posters
20
for going
years,
back a while.
you know what I mean? This is a really long time ago. And they were just like, wow, people like karaoke. And to this day, they have karaoke now every Friday, Saturday night.
Trendsetter.
Yeah.
You did it. Now, you've been interrupting the whole time, which is getting a little annoying. So, you're more of a bluesy guitarist, yes? Like,
Yes.
I mean, I know you play rock. I know you like playing the gamut.
True.
But, like, if you had to pick, like, how would I describe Jay's guitar playing? Because I don't think it's Skid Row.
Well, it can be.
I'm sure it can be, but in a perfect world where you pick what you're doing, what is it?
All right. So, I guess when I first started playing, I was really. My brother brought me home. We were at Kmart in Massachusetts. Again, we're both.
Oh, really? Okay.
We're both masters.
But she's kind of
She was on the bad side of
east.
town.
I'm way northwest. Anyway, so my brother brought
Northeast,
this tape home, and he looked at me. He's like, "Jay, you gotta listen to this guy play guitar." I think it was, I don't know, 8 years old, and he played me Eruption. I know everybody says that, but whoa.
Yeah.
So so I heard that, and then I mean immediately after that I started going to another place from up north that is called Zares, and then they had all the all the tapes and such. So I started really getting into Jimmy Page.
Mm-hmm.
Started getting into Lynyrd Skynyrd. Just that. So it was. I mean, there were different aspects. And then what turned me around was I heard Cold Shot, which is on the second Stevie Ray Vaughan album.
Yeah.
And I heard that and I hated it.
Really?
No,
Okay.
no, you're thinking, I mean, this is what? Cold
Probably
Shot.
14?
83, 80, 84, 85, whenever the album came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, ugh. And then I started really getting in guitar, and I was a big fan of Warren and Martini and rap. So I was trying to change the blues stuff, but when guitar players start out, it's one of those things where everybody starts out with a pentatonic scale. That's just fact, and it's all blues stuff until you learn the notes in between those 5 notes. And then you start playing over changes, and then, so I started getting into different stuff. So this guy, one of my teachers actually introduced me to, and he went to Guitar Institute in Van Nuys, California, right?
You're talking to a drummer, so
they had.
I may have driven past it.
They had GIT and GIT and BIT, and I think it was PIT. I think they call it Percussion Institute of Music. Anyway, so this guy's like, man, he's like, who are your favorites? At the time, 16. All right. So we're talking late 80s into early 90s. I just got into high school, So he's like, well, man, you got to start, listening to Steely Dan and Stevie Ray Vaughan and all of this. And I looked at him. You're gonna say that to a 16-year-old kid?
Right.
What he needs to do
during the hair metal.
We
phase.
we know everything.
Right.
Right. And that's how I felt about it. So you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. So hence shot. So I went back and listened to Cold Shot, and it blew my face off. So that's really cool. So then I started gravitating way more towards
the bluesy
Stevie,
rock side.
blues, jazzy stuff. Actually playing real chords, not 5 chords over everything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So then I started incorporating that into my stuff, and I was always, since I've been on stage since I've been 12. So
like 7-8 years now.
Yeah. So by this time, I'm definitely way different guitar player than when you first pick up a guitar.
Sure.
You can't play a D chord. And now I'm playing rap,
right?
It's
right.
Stuff like that. And then I was like, well, I want to incorporate that blues into it. And then it just kind of morphed into stuff, and it's kind of got a little bit of jazz. I really loved, the Skynyrd thing. I love the guitar stuff, but I really enjoyed Billy Powell more because of the saloon style piano.
Okay.
So I tried to.
So you're kind of a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
You're kind of a little bit.
He's very modest. He can play pretty much anything. I can throw anything at him. He plays it.
You can hear the different styles. I mean, obviously, that's what and I'm asking you this question to ask a follow-up question. So you're gonna be like, why are you jumping into this? So when we were talking before, I said, so whose band is it? And you both were like, it's nobody's band, right? Like you're doing the booking because you're a full-time musician.
Correct.
Which is basically slang for unemployed.
Correct.
No, I'm just kidding.
Absolutely.
So you're a full-time
I did the daytime thing for a while, and then it was interfering with the music, and then I just decided,
listen,
you know what, just do music full-time.
This is the town to do it. I mean, you can make enough money doing it, like, sure. But so you were kind of like, I do the bookings, but it's really, it's yours is like a true democracy. There's just
Correct.
You guys come together and you're like, so how are you picking songs as a band then? Because, you're one style. Right? You're a hair metal girl all day long.
That is correct.
You're more on the bluesy side of things, but you certainly encompass everything. You have more than one drummer. Mm-hmm. You have a drummer who comes in that's just metal, right? That's his passion.
Right.
And then you have Norm, who, and I'm sure your other drummer's great too. I just happen to know Norm.
Right.
Who's amazing.
Right.
But he's definitely a different style of drummer. So
Norm's more like me. He takes from
a little bit of everything.
And
sure.
Every time that he does play
Norm
with
is
us,
fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
He always learns new stuff. He always practices new stuff.
Right.
And it brings in, obviously a new element to what we do every night.
Which helps you. So
He's
the
kinda like a
musicianship
John
certainly
Densmore, like a
helps you
Doors
guys.
drummer.
Right, but
He's
it
that guy.
certainly helps you guys because you've got all this great talent on the music side, right? But how do you pick your songs?
Well, we spend a lot of time together, so we listen to songs and we would just, Alexa, play this, Alexa, play that. And then, he might be like, we should do this song. And I'll be like, yeah, this is a great song.
Right.
Let's do the song. And then I might say, well, let's do this song. And he'd say, yeah, I could, and then he'll, we work together. He'll play it out. I'll start singing it and we'll just be like, this is a good one for us to add. Or this is a good one for us to, bring to our, bring in. And then we try it a couple of times, see how the crowd responds to it. And if they like it, then we keep it in the set list.
And remind me, who's on bass?
What do you mean?
On bass guitar.
On bass, Keith Bevington.
Okay, still Keith Bevington. So can Norm?
Keith can play
and
like
Keith-
anything.
He's
Right.
been on
I
the scene
mean,
forever.
he's just-
Does he select songs too? Do you guys all, or is it kind of happening right here?
Sometimes he'll say, Dina, I used to play this song with this band and it always went over well. Do you want to sing it? Do you want to play that one? And then
And look at me.
we'll
You-
discuss.
Jay, you know that, right?
Do you know that
Yeah,
song?
yeah.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we know that, and we'll give it a shot.
Right.
Okay. Now, do you guys rehearse?
Honestly, no.
A
I don't-
lot of
We
bands tell
rehearse-
me that.
I don't
We
think
rehearse together, but as far as a
that's
group
different.
goes, not really, no.
I think we tried a couple of times at Keith's shop.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it was
when we're
just one of
changing
those,
and adding
eh.
songs, then yeah, we'll get together just to make sure that we all have it together before we go to a show. But for the most part, not at this point. I mean, it's just been together for so long
I
that
don't know. I think it's more of a me and Keith look at each other as what key you playing that in, G or F sharp, because we tune down a half step. So it's one of those. Because some people do that. They hear the album and they're always tuned straight up.
Right.
And they hear it. I've seen people, for instance, getting back to the hair metal thing, Talk Dirty to Me. It's one of those songs. It's tuned down a half step. So it's actually, you play it in C. But I've seen people play it in B because they're tuned straight up.
Okay.
And it's so goddamn awkward. I've seen them
But if you
try
don't
to do
rehearse,
it.
you don't know which way they're gonna
Yeah,
come and do it.
but there's a lot of open string stuff on the solo, this and that. It's like, well, how?
But if you don't
So,
rehearse,
you know what I mean?
So if you don't rehearse, in my band, if one of the guys or ladies turns around and looks at me, I know why, because we rehearsed a bunch. And so if I get a look from Carol on keys, which happens quite often, or I get a look from I know whether it's a like what's coming next look, or it's a what the hell are you doing look, or it's a like hey I need you
Or
to
both.
stop. Right, exactly. If you're not rehearsing, if you guys just played long enough that you kind of instinctively know.
well, we have a band chat, and then we all discuss things on this band chat constantly. And so we'll say, listen, we want to add these two songs, work on it. And then if there's any questions, I mean, everyone gets together. Now, if we add a bunch of songs, then we try to get together to make sure we go over it once or twice. But for the most part, we're just adding a song or two when we go to a next show or whatever. And everyone knows their own parts, and everyone's professional. And
And
everyone
you just figure out the endings on your group chat, and that's the end of that.
I mean, for the most
Or on
part.
stage, you look at each other like, "Hey, we're done."
Yeah, I think I'll give them the look. Ready? All right, we're
Okay, we're done.
But you and Norm are very in
Well, Norm and
tune
I have been
and sync.
playing. I've known him for 20 years, and we've been on and off in bands for that long. Because
Okay.
I met the first time I met him, I was playing. I don't know if you're familiar with Derek and the Slammers.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, Derek's brother Dwayne was my best friend in the world,
Okay.
and he ended up being my bass player. I met him, I mean, probably, I don't know, 6 months after I moved down here, and he and I just played so many shows together, and we just kind of, it just worked, and we went through a bazillion drummers. So, anywho, being, like I said, point being, Dwayne found Norm, and we played our first show together, and it was magic. It was just a little birthday party next to a pool, and we just kind of looked at each other. And of all songs, the first song we played together was Mustang Sally, but he gave me a look, like a holy shit look. so that just happened. Yeah, I guess so. So, and we
Yeah, they
just,
had like instant
ever
chemistry.
since ever since then. So we've been together.
And he's the
Probably
one that told
18,
I didn't know
19 years.
Norm prior to him because we were
Oh, so you
looking for
met
a drummer.
you guys-
So
okay.
Yeah.
he's the one that brought Norm in, and I was
Right.
just like, oh my god, this is fantastic. Because,
Now, when you don't have him, you have. Remind me the drummer's name from.
okay, so Josh.
That's it. I was gonna say John.
Josh is one of my best friends for many years. He played with Stash, and then he played with Sesame Plexer. I mean, he used to play with us all the time. So when he went off to play with Diesel at the time, it was Diesel, and he would still play with us occasionally. But we were trying to find our full-time person. So Josh, I mean, when he comes in, he just fits right in. You know what I mean? He doesn't
there's
even.
no problem.
Yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
and then even when Karen comes in, because she's
Karen's
now
also
playing with us
terrific.
for a long time, she's fantastic too. So it's like I feel like we have a solid. It's never like we have to just and then Reed too. Reed when he played with us,
Yeah, I mean,
right in. So it's kind of
And
like
he and
we
I
played it.
together for.
I mean, we
many
when we
times
played with
as
Reed,
well.
we played at Finn's with Reed recently. I mean,
so you basically got the world's
I
best
just get the
eight-piece,
grace-
four-piece band.
right?
Like
Exactly.
four-piece, eight-member band.
If you will.
Right.
There you go. Well, that's all.
I mean, at least when we're trading out drummers,
have
they're
options.
ones that have played with us so many times now over the years that
And they're all really good.
they're all very good. I mean, I'm very happy about our. And then Sean Beamer even has come in
Yep.
and played with us because he used to play with me and Stash. And then at the beginning, he was one of the original members of the Sesame Plexer band. So he comes in every once in a while, and then we played just recently with him at Long's Log Cabin, and everyone was just like, it was really good. So it's like anytime we have a drummer, they're just a really good drummer. We're very blessed with very good drummers.
Now, you guys are more than willing to come down here. Like, I know you're doing Drunken Parrot. Is it this weekend that's Drunken Parrot?
This weekend is Oasis.
Is
and
Oasis,
that's
okay.
our first time playing at Oasis. Well, for me anyway. You,
Okay.
I think, played
I've
there
played
before.
there a bazillion
Many times.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
You've been to the Oasis before.
I have not. Norm actually booked that.
He's an
particular
Oasis
gig.
virgin.
I love the look on your face. Like
He's
that.
an Oasis. So my theory is that the stripper pole in the Oasis is directly bolted to the Earth's core.
Okay.
I've seen that thing hold 9 people.
We've
Oh, so I'm
seen-
excited. It's
we-
gonna be fun.
Yeah, we've seen things.
It's
Yeah,
yes. Well, she hasn't.
Right.
Well,
you're
now
gonna
I'm
have
excited.
you're gonna have to like ease her into this.
Yeah, and I feel as though that's not going to be needed.
That's going to be a great place to play. And
Yeah,
Chuck,
I'm
and
excited.
Chuck has done so much for the local music scene, and he's super good with all the bands, and
Right.
you're going to have a blast. But so tell me, with the different styles of music you have going on,
Mm-hmm.
what's your favorite song to play? You've got to have some stuff
Oh,
that when you
my
get in there, you're like,
favorite-
this song, I want to do it. Like, it's my thing.
My very favorite song to play is the Zeppelin one. What is it? Whole Lot of Love. I love doing that one. I don't know why I love doing that one, but I guess it's right in my range, right in my wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it just gets the most. And I like looking at the people's faces because they're not expecting a woman to sing
Whole Lot of Love, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so when I sing that, it usually gets a very, especially for people that haven't heard it before, the band or whatever, it's usually the one that people come up to me and say, oh my God, I can't believe you did Zeppelin, and then you went to Axl Rose, and then you went to this, but that particular one, for some reason, it's just right in my, that's why I enjoy singing it the most.
And what
It's
about you?
easy.
What's your favorite?
That's a ridiculously hard question.
I gave you a minute and a half to think about it.
I know,
As,
this is talking
I
about
know.
love.
I know you did. As everybody comes up to me and asks, well, just play your favorite song. I say, well, they're all my favorite because I make them my own. That's normally my response. If I had to pick one solo-wise, musically, as stupid as this sounds, it's Can't You See, because I make it my own.
Now, is that Can't You See by Boston? Who's it? Which one?
No,
No. The
like Marshall Tucker. That,
Oh, Can't You See.
Yes.
Yeah.
that everybody
Okay.
plays.
Right, I
but
wanted
I've
to
been
take
doing
that
my
song out.
own version.
You don't
I
want to do
know.
it anymore?
Did not
It's
want
his
to do
favorite
Can't You
song.
See until I heard him play it, and then I was like,
Oh, now
yeah,
we're
we gotta
good.
keep it in.
Because
We
if
gotta
she
keep it in.
cancels your favorite song, you got it's a democracy.
Well, like I said, it's my favorite solo to play, not necessarily my favorite song to play.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I don't know. I guess it depends on the night.
My favorite solo that he does is Zombie. That's what
The Cranberries.
That's what made me put the hearts in my eyes.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, now you know. Arguments start around the house. Whip out the guitar, little Zombie. We're good. So you have no. Right? So you have no other. There's
play
no
that song.
There's no
my guitar up.
There's no other. There's no song that you're like. I look forward to playing this every gig. I really like. This is it. I want to do it.
Actually, before I started playing with her, I always loved doing Pride and Joy because
Stevie Ray.
I used to as I said earlier, I was ended up being the lead singer in the band out of necessity, but it actually worked out really good. I ended up getting just mad solo gigs, and it was just it was great. Singing wise, all through those times, my favorite was doing Rock and Roll Fantasy. Mm-hmm. Acoustically, but again, I will say, with a guitar solo wise, it would probably be Can't You See or Round and Round, because I love that freaking solo.
So awesome. Let me ask you this. Do you have a day job?
Now I do.
What is your day job?
I played for 15, 16 years just doing music, and after a while it kind of takes a toll on you. Mm-hmm. Where I'm not getting up, I'm not doing anything, I'm just waiting for my show.
Okay.
Now I actually deliver shit. I'm just going to say that. I deliver stuff during the day, and I love it.
Do you really?
I actually enjoy it.
Okay, I asked that because you are a very detailed person. I ask her, what's your favorite song? She's like, the Led Zeppelin thing. What's it called? Whole Lotta Love.
Yeah.
I say to you, what's your favorite song? You're like, well, let's break this down. If it's based on the solo, then it's this one. But if it's acoustic, it's really that one. And if we're talking vocals, it could be the. You're my detail guy. So So are you picking up? Like, do you have to make sure you get the right stuff and deliver it, or they just hand you the bag and you go? Because you seem like the detail.
No, I have to.
He's very
I have to do many things and pack stuff and blah blah blah. And
you're talking like bricks of cocaine, or you're talking like Amazon? That's what I'm saying. Okay, so I had to ask. So now, same way I asked you if you have a favorite song. There's got to be something that you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I have to play this. I can't believe I have to sing this. There's got to be something that you're like. Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of them on our set list that I would love to just remove, but I feel as though people are going to ask for it, or they do ask for it, and I just feel obligated to sing it. Like
if you get asked.
Well, Janis Joplin, I have a voice similar to that Janis style with the raspiness. Mm-hmm. So I feel obligated in some ways, sense or form, to play. Me and Bobby McGee, we play Piece of My Heart. Sometimes we do Mercedes-Benz. If I never did any of those songs again, I would be totally fine with it. But and I don't mind singing it. It's just
not
a matter
on your
of
list.
It's not me. Like I didn't. My parents when I grew up, I mean, they were more Elvis, Beatles, Motown.
Sure.
They weren't really 70s or Woodstock or anything. Like I didn't know anything about Jimi Hendrix or Janis Joplin or anything until I got older. I mean, that was like a teenage thing for me. So those were just songs that I learned afterwards, and I did enjoy them. So it's not like I didn't like them, but after 10 years of singing the same Janis Joplin, it's like, oh God, I was like, What's Up? Again.
See, I love playing that because I put a solo in the middle.
Yeah, and we try to we make it fun, and we try to get the crowd involved.
I just asked for your favorites. So
right.
Well, I'm not saying favorite, but I really enjoy playing that.
What do you hate to play? On your list, if you're like, oh my god.
Well, since we've had the band, my least favorite. Again, I'm gonna get detailed on you.
I'm shocked.
My least favorite was always Enter Sandman because I played that.
Oh,
for
he
so
won't
many,
play that.
So many freaking years, right? But you talked me into it a couple of times.
Right.
And at the time when we always were doing this, I never used the wah pedal. But then when I got a wah pedal,
okay,
and where the hell we were playing over in Orange City, something, and I played it, and you looked at me like, oh my god, that was perfect.
Yeah, it was like great. Someone asked for it, and I begged him to play it, and it was like note for note perfect. And I'm like, why don't you ever play this?
Yeah, well, like I said,
when it sounded so good. It sounded just like it. I was
it's one of those solos.
I'm with you. I know.
You gotta.
Even being your drummer, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, you gotta have that pretty damn close, but it needs that wah pedal. especially that album it's so detailed. The whole album.
And those
with,
are the
well,
solos people can sing along with, like they know it.
Precisely.
And
Right.
so if you
Guitar
play it
layers,
wrong, they're like, nah,
yeah.
you didn't do it right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All
There's
day
songs you have to, and there's songs that nobody's gonna know what you did anyway, and
Right.
you can make it whatever you. I totally get it.
And that's when I do it.
I totally
when
get
I
it.
be myself.
And now you've been on the music scene forever, but you almost didn't do it at all.
No, I had no intention of. I never thought that this was
That's all
what
I wanted
would
to
be
do.
doing.
That's why I moved there.
Right. You've been on it forever. You wanted to do it from day one. I mean, you got here and basically right in, but you almost didn't do it at all.
9 yards, you know.
No, I had no intentions of becoming a singer. I mean, when I was hosting the karaoke, people would say, "Oh, you should be in a band," and I was just like, I'm too old. I'm a bigger girl. No one wants to see that. That was my thought process, and I never had any intentions of being a singer in a band, and I never even had any aspiration to really be a singer in a band. I just liked to sing, and I loved music, so I knew that part. I knew I loved music. I always knew music was going to be a part of my life, but I didn't think it was going to be this.
Now it's full time.
Now it's full time.
I mean, it
That's
went
all
from
I do.
I'm never going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that I was like necessarily I'm never going to do that. I just didn't think it was even a possibility. I just always thought I'd, be like, I don't know, something else. I don't know.
And now here you are on the band call.
And then here I am.
Just a singer.
Or an Indian chief.
Right.
So, I said before, so you guys are mostly in Daytona, right?
Mostly in
But you have
Daytona.
no issue coming down here at all. Is there a
Oh,
club?
gosh, no.
You have clubs on your radar that you like, we want to play there. We want to play that one. Like, anything that you look at and you're like, I really want to get in there. I really want to do it. Or have you not looked?
No, I'm trying to think of somewhere that, you know where? I'll be honest with you.
Well, we haven't played a post on yet.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
No
Because
way.
Deanna, I've messaged her
Who
and
is
said,
fantastic.
yeah, and she used to work at Dirty Harry's as well.
Yes,
So
yeah.
she actually booked the
yeah,
duo over and had us there. But that's just one place we just never played.
And that club has really gone more rock and roll.
Right.
3, 4, 5 years ago, they were more of a dance club.
But she's cool.
and
She's like in constant contact. She'll
She's
come and hear me, and so I mean I don't think she's actually ever heard us. She keeps saying she'll come, but I don't. I never.
She's in
actually
the same boat that we're in, that you're in. Like, I want to go see you, but I guarantee 95% of the time you're playing, so
Oh,
am
of
I.
course. I mean,
And
she's
she's
busy, but she can't
working
come
it
see every band.
post
so I
time
mean, I
for the
get it.
same time. There's really it's very hard to.
But that's probably the only place that I can say that I actually reached out and just never actually ended up playing.
I think we should make it happen.
I think we should.
I think you should.
Deanna,
there's a
if you're
rumor.
watching.
Deanna watches.
Yes, she.
Deanna watches. She does, which I'm very appreciative of. I forget what I was going to tell you because we sidetracked on Deanna. I'm so sorry. No, it was totally me being an idiot. I'm getting old and I forget things now. Like, that seems to be the thing. But yes, Deanna watches, and there's a rumor that next week I'm going to get Deanna on the band crawl. So here's the thing,
Perfect.
right? You guys can help me out with this.
Right.
I have been telling Deanna to come on the band crawl for months because I think when you do the interviews, you guys are veterans of the scene. You've been doing it a long time. I've been doing it a long time. There's a lot of bands that haven't been doing it a long time.
Right.
And they absolutely do not understand the club owner side of the business. Like, you can see it. I read, not that I'm taking a side, right? Because I play in a band.
No, I get it.
But you can read posts online
Right.
and be like, oh, you only think this. You've never thought about that.
Right.
And so I think it's beneficial, especially a popular manager like Deanna, from a popular club like Post Time, to get a manager or a club owner on and say, hey, what determines if a band is a good fit for you?
Right.
What determines if they're coming back? They all have a ratio of, like, you need to make X if I pay you Y.
Right.
What's your ratio? Like, I think that's, and again, you guys understand that. I'd say 70% of the music scene probably understands it. You'd be amazed how many people do not understand it. And so
Right.
I've been trying to get Deanna to do this, and she tells me I'm camera shy. So next
she'll
week,
be fine.
next week is already Labor Day week, right? Yeah, because this weekend is the 27th, right? And so next week will be Labor Day week.
Right.
Next
Emmett.
week will be Jamaica.
Oh, Emmett.
Emmett is doing the Drumathon.
Yes, that's
So
right.
this year the Drumathon is at Post Time.
We're gonna be at Jamaica.
You should come anyway. Just
How am I supposed
come
to
home.
be
Just
in
come
Jamaica?
home and do it and go
That's
back.
the day that we're leaving.
No, I'm just so
On the Sunday.
So it's at Post
Sunday
Time.
the 4th.
Yes, and that's when he's
Right.
doing it. And in the past,
Because I had it on my calendar.
in the past, he's done it at a Walmart parking lot in Sanford, which was both. We always had problems with noise, and it was like super safe. We're just in Sanford at a Walmart parking lot at 3 a.m. playing drums.
Right.
So now it's not a 24-hour event, and it's at post time.
Right.
And so next week Emmett is going to come on and talk about Drumathon,
Yay!
and I can talk to him about Strut, and Rocketfly's about to release original music.
Right.
We can talk about that. And so we're going to. So he is bringing Deanna.
Oh, nice.
Now I'm going to tell you something nobody knows.
Okay.
If he doesn't bring Deanna, I have a plan. It won't happen next week because I'm going to wait if he brings her on her own.
Okay.
But I have put together a plan that Deanna will wind up on the show.
Good.
So Deanna, if you're watching, I have a plan. You should just come with Emmett. But hopefully she'll be on here next week. So
Right.
post time would be a great fit for you guys. I'm trying to think of who the other rock clubs down here are. Oh, you should definitely reach out to Rock and Brews. Right? Rock and Brews. It's in Oviedo.
Rock and Brews.
Rock and Brews. So that is.
I don't know about that
So
one.
Rock and Brews is owned by Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons from Kiss.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh yeah, the whole place is themed music, like everywhere. It's muraled and paintings and anyway, it's a music bar, a restaurant bar.
Right.
You have to keep the volume down a little bit because there's a crazy neighbor who's behind there.
I've heard
And
things. One of my friends' bands played there, and there was an issue.
That hasn't. So I'll tell you this.
Okay.
I played there with Gin and Tonics. I filled in for Mike while he was away. I played an electronic kit. I went and watched them before I played, and Mike had this full acoustic drum set. Dave Reynolds, who doesn't crank it into oblivion, had a Marshall stack my height, and they were not blaring, but they weren't quiet, and there was no problem. So I kind of feel like they've gotten away from that a little bit, and maybe there's a little less rigidity in the volume. But you would be a good fit there because you play everything that's on their wall, like everything you named.
Oh, really?
Like there's.
Now, what about this Fredster's place that I've heard all about on your?
So I am a huge Fredster's fan.
Right. I don't know anything about them until I heard them on your band crawl.
So they're in Maitland. They're right off I-4 Maitland exit, like literally like a mile away. It is a massive stage. I've watched bands in there. They have a band called Soul Function that's like a jazz blues band with a full horn section, 3 singers,
Nice.
plus the band, plenty of room. It's basically like someone took the post time, which I love, so I'm not saying anything negative. They basically took post time and tripled the size. The
Right.
stage is huge. The
Wow.
dance floor is huge. There's 2 massive bars. It seats 120 or 140 inside. It has an outdoor patio that does another 50 or 60 people. That's awesome. Now the thing there is, they're not a rock club. They are much more a dance club, unless you are in the legendary status.
That's your
Right,
thing.
right.
Like
Gotcha.
yes, we do very well there because we're a
Right.
dance band. But like Skin Deep is there this weekend.
Right.
My Generation is there. They're working on getting Rocketfly. Like the bands that just have this huge following.
Right.
They'll change for a night and let them do what they want to do.
Right.
But basically, they want their dance floor packed.
Gotcha.
So they probably wouldn't be a fit.
Right.
But around here, there's plenty of clubs, and of course, I'm just drawing a blank, right? But if you run down the band crawl,
Right.
and look at those clubs, the good thing is those club owners all see the interviews, and I think you guys would do really well down here. I've watched your videos. I've seen plenty of stuff of you guys playing. I think you'd do really well down here. You should just troll the list. Even Dexter's Lake Mary is now doing rock bands, not dance bands all the time. Like
Right.
you should look at the list, figure out what you want,
Right.
and do it. We'd love to see you guys down here,
I'd
and not
love
have
to
to
be
and not
down
have to
here.
drive all the way into Daytona to see you all the time.
Right.
Now you guys are Duplexer also, right?
Correct. So we have a acoustic show that the two of us do that we normally pull from our Sesame Plexer list and perform everything acoustically. But we do have some other songs as well. But that's the and I also have the other duo with James Crouch, and James Crouch I've been with for 10 years.
Now, do you book that too?
I book everything
So you book it
for
all?
the most part. For the most part, I mean, Jilly, Keith's girlfriend, wife, she will sometimes reach out and book something as well, and Norm, especially if like Drunken Parrot, that
That's
was a Norm thing.
But I asked
So-
that mainly because if you have 2 duos, are they different? Like you're doing
Oh yeah,
different
they're
music
two
between
very
the 2 of
different
them?
things. James is a blues guitar guy, and it's very much a very different show than when I play with him. Although he is kind of a blues guy too, we have a different variety.
But
of
different
music.
songs.
Different songs.
Because I was wondering how you pick which duo you're sending out. Right.
Right.
But
Well,
they're different.
Generally, I don't really, and I know this might sound like I don't generally reach out too much. Usually, people, because we've been doing it for so long,
They'll just
that
hit you
they
up.
just send me a message and say,
That
you know,
makes
do you
sense.
have any availability? But again, mostly in the Daytona area. Of course, if we wanted to branch out a little bit more, but a lot of people, you know, because we've been doing it for so long. I mean, it's the duo with James has been around for at least 10 years now. So
I'm going to ask you one more thing.
yes.
And then I'm going to leave you be because I've kept
Okay.
you here a long time. And I greatly appreciate you coming and doing it and driving down. And I
Oh my
appreciate
God,
it.
we're so happy to be here.
I
watch you every week.
As long as you played,
Yes.
there's got to be a funny story. It could be a Sesame Plexer story. It could be something when you guys weren't. There's got to be See, she's already.
I actually think we're thinking the same thing, and we
All right.
probably shouldn't talk about that.
No, you have to talk about it, right? No, now
I
it's
don't
done.
know which one. I mean, there's
No,
so
no, it's
many.
no,
We
no,
always
no,
have
no,
shenanigans.
The names can be changed to protect the guilty. It's fine. It doesn't
No, they
matter.
really can't.
The shenanigans. There's always shenanigans.
But
I
there's
mean,
got to be something that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that.
I
There's
can't even pick one. It's always
Well,
shenanigans.
there's a lot of stories. There's potato chips being dipped in Jaeger.
In Jaeger? That sounds like a Crash Rocket
There's
thing.
a BLT in a mouth instead of a microphone.
Oh boy.
There's
That probably impaired your singing.
Well, it could have been me. I mean,
Oh, that's true.
Could have been me.
That's true.
Oh my God! There were certain members of the band, to certain moments, falling backwards into walls.
Because they were hammered while playing.
We have a good time. It depends on where we're playing. I mean, we try to be very professional wherever we play. However,
Understood. But we
there
were our
are
younger
certain
ones.
places that we play that we have a little leeway and it's fun and we all just have a good time. We get people up to sing and we get people up to play, and I mean that's normally in the Daytona circuit. I mean we don't pull that at a lot of different places. There's just certain places, you know, it just kind of.
So there's no story that you guys.
Oh my
wanna
God!
relay.
I mean, we should have asked me this before. So
No, I don't ask before.
I should think about this. I don't know. I can't think of one that's.
All right, so I'll.
That
Well,
sticks
there
out.
have been people that have gotten threatened that they were gonna lose their teeth.
Oh God!
That-
You're
that-
so silly.
That
Let's-
was a good one.
No.
So do I have to let you
You're
think
like, no,
about
don't
this and
tell
give
us
me
that.
one at a
No.
later time? Do I have to let you like think this through?
I mean, perhaps.
And you'll relay this to me.
I think you should just let me.
I
go.
mean, perhaps. I don't know about. I'm trying because it's really hard to pick just one. To be honest with you,
I know.
There's just too many that are just because we've been at this a long time. I really want to tell the Josh story, but it was so long ago.
Oh, well, see, I wasn't.
You weren't even in the band
I
at the
wasn't in
time.
the band then, but it is a pretty good goddamn story.
We had like a double. We had a. I don't know. I don't want to put him out there like that,
All right.
but
That's our boy. He doesn't.
Yeah,
That's not
yeah.
a good idea.
All right, so now I don't want to leave these guys with no funny stories, so I'm going to tell you one.
Okay, that's
So
perfect.
we played Cafe Murano,
Okay.
and everyone in the band was. I've always had good bands. I'm very fortunate with that. And one of our players, to not call anybody out, when we would play Jesse's Girl, they say, you know, where can I find a woman like that? And we always say, like, you know, right here on the dance floor, or right here at Cafe Murano, or right here, or, you know, we say something, right? He goes, we're at Cafe Murano, and he goes, right here at Traders, which is in New Smyrna Beach. Wait, and so we think he's doing this on purpose, so we laugh, and Ryan or me or somebody goes, we're at Cafe Murano. And he goes, no, we're not. And he was dead serious.
He thought he was at Traders.
And I'm like, look around. And then he was like, oh, and we just kept going.
Right.
Because but he literally had the wrong venue, like right out of that bad TV commercial where the guy yells out the wrong venue at the club.
That's
like,
awesome.
Wow. So at least I gave you a funny story because they have
Yeah.
to think. He's compartmentalizing it into 9 different decisions. He's like, well, funny is how do we categorize?
But there's so many.
It's okay. So now you're gonna have to come up with something, and message me or something, and
All
we're
right.
gonna and we're gonna have to do this, right? At some point we're gonna have to do it. But I appreciate you guys coming all this way.
Thank you for having us.
And doing it. I'm very excited you were finally able to do it. I'm thrilled I finally got to meet you.
I know, me
I've
too.
talked to you
I'm
on
so
social
excited.
100 times, and I'm like,
Yes.
okay, she's actually coming to the room. She's real. Yes. We'll do it. We'll definitely have you guys back. You know, maybe we'll drag out Keith and Norm
Yes.
or Josh. And I would love to get the guys from Fracture.
Oh my God, absolutely.
They would.
They are
I talk
awesome.
about them all the time, but I haven't gotten to see them. So it's another one where
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
I don't really know what I'm saying. So we're gonna have to set that
They're
up for
awesome.
sure. If you're out this weekend, definitely go check out everybody. You guys are at the Oasis.
Yep.
So yes, go see them and make a note that you did, because chances are you won't remember the Oasis the night after. That's normally how those nights work. It's just fun.
I'm
It's a really
intrigued
fun
now
place.
about
You're gonna
those.
have a blast. You're gonna have a
Thursday,
blast.
you and I are at Hidden Treasure for a duo.
Rose
But
Bay.
when do you usually? It's on Thursdays.
I try and
usually?
put this out on Wednesdays now, so that
So
Thursday's
Thursday
covered.
we're at Hidden Treasure.
You didn't send
at
me
Rose
that
Bay.
this time, so I didn't cover
I
it.
know.
So,
I
see,
didn't.
so now you
I
know.
figured I was coming, and I'll just tell you in
So
person.
now you know.
So yeah, 5 to 9
Awesome.
on Thursday, and
Yes.
then we actually don't have anything on Friday for.
You're slacking.
I think we're
You're
going.
in charge of
I
booking.
think we're going to see the Elvis movie.
We're gonna see
Really?
this movie.
Okay, I'm an
haven't
Elvis
seen it
fan,
yet,
so I'm
so-
just saying.
Who is
I'm
it?
just saying. If
Right.
you wind up in New Smyrna, we're at Traders in New Smyrna Beach.
Ah,
And
maybe
play-
we'll come do that.
We
Maybe we'll
play
do
the
that.
exact same thing as you do, except not.
Right.
It's the
Except
exact
not.
opposite of what you do.
The
But
stuff that people actually dance to.
feel free to say, hey, I'm sure they dance to you guys. I'm sure of it. Thank you very much for watching. Go out, support live music. Thank you so much. Please check these guys out, and we will see you next week.